Basketball Radio Show. We're live from Roca and Martillo out here at The Rock. Thanks for being with us this evening as we talk hoops. The final week of the season coming up for both teams, and the conference tournament for the women coming up next week. Joining us in the first segment is Aston Claunch. And again, the show is presented by UT Health San Antonio, the official healthcare partner of UTSA Athletics. Another really hard-fought game by this team against Wichita State the other night, and just a little bit too much, not enough gas there at the end of the game.
Yeah, Wichita's a really good team. And, Andy, I think with this group, I think we're sort of past the point. We know these guys are going to show up and give everything they have. Quite frankly, we didn't play as well as we had been playing, I thought. I thought we played really well against ECU, even against FAU at home. The last month, we've just played better. And give Wichita a lot of credit. That's why they're at the top of the league. And I told our guys, we just need to be a little bit better on both sides of the ball to beat, teams in the top 2 or 3 in the league, and they were disappointed. They wanted to continue to kind of play at the level that we had, and we just didn't. And to win those games, you got to be better.
So you played a couple of guys 40 minutes, 2 or 3 other guys high 30s, and the other 2 in the high 20s. That's a ton of minutes, but they have to do that right now with the injuries and the situation that you have.
Yeah, just kind of is what it is with our depth right now. We're hopeful for Sunday to maybe get 1 or 2 back. Be nice to have 8.
Yeah.
And certainly when you're playing a team like Wichita, that's as physical as they are. They wear you down inside. They're tough on the outside, and then they probably have the best guard in the league. And so they're really well put together, and they just do a really good job. And when you have 6 guys, it's hard enough with 6, and then you play a team that's as physical as Wichita. They hit you on the offensive glass, makes it even tougher.
And not only do you need those extra bodies, obviously they're good players that could be out there if they were available, but you need those minutes to be a little bit less so that you have what's left at the end of a game.
Yeah, no doubt. And certainly just, with Jameer, I think that's 2 or 3 straight games now, 40 minutes. And it's just hard. He's already sort of playing out of position with where we are, having to be a primary distributor, being the guy that initiates everything. We rely on him for scoring, and now you're playing 40 minutes a game. So I'm just, again, you want to play better, but I'm also really proud of the resilience and the fight that this team has shown the last couple of weeks.
Tim Carter and I were talking on the broadcast the other night about Dorian Hayes and what his potential is down the road. I love his shot. He's had games this year around 19 points. Can he become one of those scorers, like a Riley, like a Giles in this league? Do you want him to develop into that kind of a player?
Yeah, 100%. In his own way, and then within what we do, we play differently from Wichita State and ECU, but Dorian Hayes can certainly become that. He is a special player, not just for what he does on the basketball court, but what he represents off the court. And so we're obviously really excited about him. That's priority number 1. Let's just be cut and dry about it. Dorian Hayes is really important for what we're trying to build. He's obviously shown an incredible toughness, even coming back from injury as a freshman, and he's an incredible young man. And so we're really excited about his future at UTSA, as well as the other young core that we have.
And does a player at some point have to develop a little bit of selfishness? Not bad selfishness, but hey, I got a shot, I know I can make it, take it. A lot of times young players are a little apprehensive about taking early shots, even though that may be the best shot.
Yeah, I think that'll come organically, in his second year in the program. As a player, as a coach, I've been around basketball a long time. Just guys that are in the program for an extra year, when they've played already, in that year 1, but now they're playing even those minutes again in year 2, it's just that there's a comfort level and a confidence that just kind of happens, and it's hard to explain it. But that first game when we come out here in November against San Jose State, he's gonna, it's just gonna feel like a different player. And so to have that, that's we didn't necessarily have that last year. Even got the guys that came back from the year before. weren't necessarily as proven,
Right.
you know. And so, really good players, but from a scoring standpoint, that's something that we're obviously really excited about.
You mentioned Jameer's ability to play 40 minutes and to play out of position, but I'm as impressed about his quiet leadership and the professionalism that he has in his work ethic. And for a fifth-year guy that is, playing, I guess, to the next level after this, professional wherever it may be, and to have the season that you've had, that just shows what kind of character he has. We know he can play, we know he can score, but he's doing a lot of other things.
Yeah, you know, he's gotten really unlucky this year in the sense that we had older guys go down, we had older guys get hurt. Certainly, we had way more of an expectation for our team. And he's kind of just taken it all in stride, continued to work, and not just work and score himself. He's really leaned into these young guys. He's really leaned into, you know, becoming more of a vocal leader in the locker room, you know, trying to help guys do the right thing on the court and fight through adversity. Because we do. I mean, you look at our D1 experience, we're near the – coming into the year, we were near the bottom of the country. And then, you know, with all – then you know, you take into account all the injuries we had. Now I think we're in the bottom 5 in D1 experience. I think Jameer's just done an incredible job, even when it's going hard for him, staying the course and understanding, you know, where we are as a team and as a program. And again, that's why, you know, he's a guy that is going to play this game for a long time.
We got more with Austin coming up, including a scout of Rice, who the Roadrunners will play on Sunday, and the seniors on this team as well. In the next segment, we're going to introduce you to Tyler McCullough, the strength and conditioning coach here at UTSA, and talk about the program you'll have these athletes on coming up. welcome to the show. How you doing tonight?
Good. Nice to finally be on here.
That's great to have you out here. All right, you got to make sure these guys get big and strong. And I've already seen in the last 3 months the maturation we're seeing with the younger guys like Dorian, especially Mateo and Caden. So take us through what it's like when you get a player in for the first time, and they're pretty skilled, but you got to get them bigger and stronger to be able to play at this level.
Yeah, that's the fun part of this job is when you have a group of young guys, like they're just really, they're obviously really talented, genetically gifted. They just haven't been exposed to training or proper nutrition. So you kind of have a blank canvas to do, and they have you give them the right stuff and feed them the right way. Their super genetics take over, and then makes you look like you're good at your job.
Yeah. So take us through what a typical weight training session would be. How strong do they have to get to where you don't want to get them too bulky, I guess, but you still want them to be flexible, all those kind of things. How do you properly do that?
Yeah, that's one of those things that's interesting with basketball. It's not necessarily like you got to be able to squat this weight or press this weight, but you got to be able to, a good way to describe it to them is you got to be able to guard your position, right? Like if you can't hold your own in the post or a guy's, able to get right by you on the wing, you got to be able to withstand that. So it's you just teach them how to be strong in certain positions, and then like I said with these young guys, just getting exposed to stuff, they just get stronger and stronger, and they keep coming back because they start to feel like they finished through contact for an and one and things. So it's kind of relative to the sport, but just never go wrong being strong, as I like to say.
So you were a football player at Colorado, but you're transitioning into being the strength and conditioning coach for basketball. Take us through the dynamics of what you remember in your playing days trying to get bigger and stronger for that sport, and then the differences trying to do it here for basketball.
Yeah, I came into to college. I was super skinny. I grew really late in high school, so I was skin and bones when I showed up to Colorado. So thought I was going to get moved to tight end. I had to gain a bunch of weight, and at that it's literally you got to be able to at that position hold your own. You're blocking NFL defensive linemen and things. But at basketball, it's all, like I said, strength is relative, but being able to hold your own at that thing it's a grown man's game. Going from high school where you're the best player, you can get away with a lot, to being the lowest guy in the totem pole in college, in a grown man's league like the American Conference.
Austin, talk about Tyler and his contribution to this team and the necessity to teach these young kids that they need the weight room and they need the nutrition he talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially in our conference, it's one of the more physical conferences in the country. And Tyler comes from just a really, really good background. He's been out of football for a while. He's been around some of the best basketball minds in the game. Alan Bishop down in Houston is, considered one of the best in the country, and that's, Tyler's his protege and brings just a lot of that. It's not just what they do, but how they do it in the weight room, right? The mentality of understanding. It should be tough. I tell them all the time, they shouldn't always love coming in here, right? it's especially in the off season. In the season, so much of it's about health and wellness and that kind of thing. But here in the spring, you talk about Dorian Hayes. His body needs to change a little bit. Not a ton. It's like you said, it's not. We don't need him to be a linebacker. I don't want him to go play for Jeff. But we do want him to continue to understand the importance of that, and all these guys do. And Tyler does a really good job of communicating that with them and getting the most out of them.
So Tyler, when the season ends at this weekend, what's the protocol for these players? How much time off do they get? When do you want them in the weight room? How often are they there? What's their schedule like between now and next November?
Yeah, like honestly, we've been going hard, since June, July, a little bit of August, but we've been together playing basketball since September really. So you kind of just mentally get away for a little bit. Even if physically you feel okay, like mentally just get away so we can come back fresh and train. And then so maybe a week, 2 weeks would be ideal, but it's probably not realistic because these dudes are going to be hungry to get back in after the season we've had. So. Give them a little time to refresh, and then this next phase is huge leading into what we want to get to this summer. You got to fix all the weak links and things that you get banged up during the season, because we want to get really big and strong in the summer. You can't have any weak links, right? You only have strong as your weakest link. So this is our time to fix all that stuff heading into the offseason. We can have a monster summer. And
a lot of the conditioning that you do to get ready for the season happens before the season begins. We don't see it used to be coaches would run thousands of wind sprints all year long, but that just tires guys out and wears out their legs. You do that differently now.
Yeah, for sure. And a good thing about basketball is like these dudes are always going to hoop. You know, they go home for the summer. They're going to find pickups. They're going to play in pro-ams, whatever that stuff is. So, you know, they have a good baseline of they're always running and jumping. You always got to kind of reel them in a little bit sometimes. And then there's ways you can be creative with it. You know, we have so much like cardio, like things like the assault bike and the Versa climber that we can do, you know, to keep them in a really good shape, but without having so much impact on their joints, especially these bigger guys. You know, if you got Big Mo at 270 running just constantly, just ankles, knees, just take a toll. So there's ways we can do it now that will really get some good bang for buck.
When you get a young player, how foreign is the weight room to them to not only get them in there, but to teach them how to do it properly?
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, you know, coming from football, like a lot of those dudes have valued it since they were, you know, freshmen in high school. It might have had it, you know, to a detriment, but with these guys, they're really, really undertrained. You know, they've done a lot of things, and they always complain. You know, I got knee pain, and it's like I can't squat, or with this, and it's like, is this pain there because there's something a problem, or are you just really weak and you just haven't trained? So, you know, it's like we're going to squat 3 times a week and your knees are going to feel better. Like it's counterintuitive. So really foreign to them, and you, like I said, you can explain to them why it's important. Like if you're, you know, if you get stronger, your knees are going to hold up better. You're going to finish through contact. You know, your durability questions are going to go away. And like I said, they have a really clean canvas, so you can, you know, teach them the right way to do things early and get a lot of value out of that.
All right. Thanks so much, Tyler, for being here tonight. All the best this summer getting these guys ready for November, and we'll look forward to more success. And I know Caden and Mateo have already gotten a little bit bigger. They're going to be a different specimen when they get back here next fall.
Yeah, definitely. We're just scratching the surface of those guys, so excited about it.
Thanks so much. All right. That's Tyler McCullough out here. it's Rice on Saturday or Sunday, and talk about the Owls. They're playing for something. They need to win out probably, but they have a chance to get to the tournament.
Yeah, I mean they got a huge win at Temple the other day. We obviously haven't seen them since the very beginning of January. Anytime you play Coach Lanier-led team, you can expect just a lot of physicality defensively. They're going to hedge ball screens. They're going to be aggressive and try to pressure you. We did a pretty good job offensively here the last time. We did a terrible job defensively. They really shot it. If you recall that game, I think they came out, made their first 4 threes of the game, kind of got us on our back foot to start. And so, again, they're different than they were in January. We're different than we were. We've got to be ready to handle pressure and figure out how we're going to guard their guard play.
LJ, Mo, Stanley, and Jameer, you honored on Sunday after the game. Gave them their jerseys in the frames. Talk about those 4 guys and their impact here at UTSA this year.
Yeah, 4 completely different stories. A couple of guys that have been here a couple of years, a couple of one-year guys. Stan was bottled up with injuries all year, and his leadership behind the scenes is something that's probably gone under-talked about. Jameer, of course, having an incredible year, and we already mentioned just his leadership throughout the adversity that we had. Mo Jai, just one of the best people you're ever going to meet and be around. And, kind of snake bitten with injuries throughout his 2 years here. And it was a shame, too, because I really felt he was starting to come into his own, the way he was playing. And he was the one that I thought, after that first third of the season, of the conference year, started to turn the corner for us. But again, he's a guy that's given so much to this program, and his name will be inked all over this thing when we start playing better here next year. And LJ, obviously, of course, we all know LJ's story with, every time he walks in the gym, you see that brown and in the top of the arena, and it's been cool for him to kind of go for a guy that, hey, listen, he came here as a walk-on and really, didn't get a lot of minutes last year and became a crucial member of this team, and not just how he practiced, but how he played. And I just think it's so appropriate that he hits the shot to put us up at Charlotte, and we go ahead and get a big win. So, all those guys have different stories, but all play equally huge parts in what we've been trying to build.
How do you recruit in this day and age with transfer portal and NIL, and also trying to get younger players at the same time? Is there a balance there that you have to kind of figure out how you're going to build your roster?
Well, there's certainly a balance, obviously, Andy, that's what we're still evaluating and looking at. Here in about a week, I've got to really take a hard look in the mirror and see, what direction do we go. There's different things you can do. There's, everyone has what they have resource-wise, NIL and all that. Most importantly for us, it starts with, how are we going to win? How are we going to win UTSA? What's our identity? And then you build from there, and you find the guys that best represent that model.
And there's schools out there like Miami of Ohio that are having a magical year and have the opportunity to do that, to have something really special could happen here.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It just takes one group of guys. That's why I tell people all the time. It's in today's day and age in college basketball, it's never been easier to, win 20 games in a year, and then win 5 in a year, and then win 20 in a year, and then win 10, and then because you are going to have a brand new batch every year, and that's not to say we're excited about a couple of guys that we're going to have coming back. We feel like we've got some guys that we can help build with, but you're still going to bring in 6-7 new guys. That's just what it is. And it just takes one group of guys to really come together, and obviously what they've done over at Miami, Ohio is special, and that's again, it's a testament not just to maybe the returners, but the job that they've done in ingratiating new guys into what they do.
But a goal that every mid-major can strive for.
No, 100%. I mean, that can be done. It's been done. Maybe not what they're doing, but in regards to winning, 10 one year, 25 the next. That can happen anywhere in the country. So, again, that's obviously what our goal is and what we're going to be working toward here in about 7 days.
All right, let's look forward to Rice on Sunday. Look forward to the trip over on Saturday and the game Sunday.
Let's go get one more. Thanks, Andy.
All right, that's Aston Claunch with us. Karen Aston coming up in the next segment as part of the UTSA women's basketball team. Karen Aston joins us for the first segment. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got a good win over Memphis, snapped the losing streak, and was watching that game on Sunday. My first thought was Memphis is just one of those teams that's just a pain. They won't go away.
No doubt.
You had them down 10 or 12, then they'd get to within 3 or 4, and then you'd race it back up, and it was nip and tuck until the end.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're extremely talented. They have a lot of length, and they can really disrupt you defensively. And then they have just a little bucket getter on their team that you have to just have such an attention to detail on her. And but again, defensively, they can create havoc, which sometimes we get a little entrapped in that and have turnovers. But I thought we were really good. I thought we kept our composure. I thought our defense was really solid. I was very proud of our performance.
And when you needed stops, you were able to get them. When you were able to get a bucket to kind of stop one of their runs, somebody stepped up and figured out a way to get it done.
For sure. I thought it was one of our best team performances all year.
All right, let's talk about you're the 6th seed right now going into the Tulsa game. There's a chance you could get to 4 or 5 depending on what the teams in front of you do, one of them which is Tulsa. But probably you could go to 7 or 8 too. So there's a fine line here in these next 2 games and 2 really tough games coming up.
Yeah, no question about it. And, there is obviously – I mean, in years past, there hasn't been that big of a difference, but obviously getting to 5 or 6 would be, a rest. It would be a day of rest. It would be a bye, and I think that would be really huge for us. I do think that we need another win probably to secure that, but again, I don't know exactly what's happened tonight. But, if we can get a bye, I think that would be really good. If we don't, we're going to line up and play. We're going to do what we have to do. And
this is what you kind of work for because you're going to play probably 4 days in a row, maybe 5, but you would rather play 4. And it's kind of a survival thing. It's who has that intestinal fortitude to stick with the rigors of a tournament for 4 or 5 days.
For sure. And, to be honest with you, I've kind of changed my practice schedule a little bit. Just trying to, last year, and maybe that was a mistake last year, there were days after games that we didn't do a lot or day before we were pretty light. And this year I've kind of gone a little harder just to maybe shorter but harder.
Sure.
Just to kind of keep them in game mode every day because when you get to the tournament, there isn't a day in between, so you're going to have to line up and play 4 or 5 days in a row.
And it's an adjustment, too, because you're not only playing, but you're scouting and you're figuring out your offensive and defensive game plan kind of on the fly. You don't have several days to do that.
Yeah, and for this group, I don't know that that's going to be too bad, to be honest with you. Sometimes I think the more they think, the worse they are. So it's because of their youth. If you have too much of a game plan in their heads, then sometimes I think it takes away from just playing hard and playing with some freedom.
You beat Tulsa up in Oklahoma earlier in the year. How'd you do that? And it was a pretty convincing win, too, I think by 19.
Yeah, we played really well. Now, I will say that they didn't shoot the ball very well, and they had a player out, so I think this is going to be a much tougher contest for us. We're good at home. I'm happy to be home. I think we're excited to play. I thought we looked really good in practice today, and typically for us, practice kind of, we kind of play the way we practice, and so I was pleased with the way we worked today.
There are 2 players. Maddie Cartwright leads the second in the conference, and Hannah Riddick's right behind her at 5th, so they've got 2 people that can score. I was looking at the box score from the last game. They average about 31 between them. You held them to 17 collectively.
Yeah, we did a great job on Riddick. She did get in a little bit of foul trouble, but Riddick is an interesting player because she can bring the ball down. She's kind of like a point forward that our 5 players have to guard. She can put the ball on the floor. She's really tough to guard. And, Maddie Cartwright's just somebody that when she crosses the half-court line, you better have her. And you better not lose her the whole game.
Yeah.
So we understand the assignment on defense. I think we know what we need to do. On the other end of it, that game was good for us because we got a lot of stops and we were able to get out and transition quite a bit.
So where do you think you're playing your best right now? What do you like that you can kind of say, I'm pretty confident we're going to be good at this?
I hate to not say it's defense because we have really defended well all year long. Statistically, we've been very good. But when we're connected and we're really fundamentally sound defensively and we don't get away from the fundamentals, which is, being in the help line, communicating with each other, switching properly. When we do those things really well, we're really good. So we have to be that way down the stretch now. And on the other end of it, I think we're starting to get some continuity in our offense. I think we're starting to understand inside out, maybe a little bit better than we did a few weeks ago. So I'm really pleased with what we looked like on Saturday, Sunday, whatever day we played.
Yeah.
And I hope we can carry it over because I thought we really did some good things in that game.
Who's your friend with us tonight?
This is JC.
Say hi, JC.
Hi.
All right.
What do you think about the Birds? What do you think about the Roadrunners?
I think about they the best player that I ever seen.
That's right. The best players you've ever seen.
There you go. There's your scouting report right there. All right, we'll introduce you to Cameron Miles coming up in the next segment. Save time after the game by ordering Taco Cabana. Cameron Miles is joining us. He's the associate head coach for UTSA women's basketball. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You've been around for a while, and you got kind of started at the bottom with Karen and worked your way up here. So congrats on all of that. Take us through your 4-year journey here.
I mean, it's been remarkable. I would say that. Karen's an amazing boss. She's taught me so much, developed me along the way. Coming in, no real connection to her outside of Empress Davenport, a few other people connected in the business. She brought me in and she trusted me. She gave me the position group of the post players to work with, and I felt the growth right away. So it's been amazing, and it was easy to stay here and kind of just truck along with her.
I know that you're going to be a head coach down the road. That'll be something that's special for you. What do you think you as a head coach, who's besides Karen are your mentors, and what kind of philosophy will you have as a coach at some day when it's you're shipped around?
That's a great question. And I would say mentors in the business. I've talked a lot to the head coach at SFA. His name is Lynn Bishop. He was one of the guys that I met immediately in my career. Same thing with Jason Burton, honestly, at North Texas. They were just guys that were there who reached out to me early as a young coach and just gave me a ear and gave me a shoulder to talk to. So I would say I would look up to them and talk to them a little bit outside of Karen. And obviously my first boss is Robin Harmony. Philosophy, again, it's very similar to Karen's. Defense wins championships. Yeah. Defense wins games, right? So I would definitely want a team that can defend. A lot of freedom and fluidity on the offensive side, playing with the basketball, getting up the floor. Philosophy-wise, I mean, again, you have to adjust all of those when you get your players in there.
Yeah, I remember, I think the legendary Henry Iba was quoted with this, but other coaches have said it. Sometimes you shoot 50% and it's easy to win. Sometimes you shoot 30%, you better be able to guard.
And yeah, you got to do something different then. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about you mentored Jordan Jenkins here for a couple of years, and now Adara and Cheyenne and others in the post. What is it about the post play that you are able to kind of give them the magic juice, if you will?
You know, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I was a point guard growing
good
up.
Players, right?
Yeah, they're really, really good basketball players. So I can't take the blame for that. I was a point guard growing up, and I know when I first got placed as a position coach, a post position coach, I had a conversation with my older brother, and we talked about it. And I was just like, I don't know what to teach them. Like, I've never played their game. And he said, he opened up my eyes. He said, maybe you're supposed to let them into the mind of a guard. And if they can understand what you're thinking, then there's a connection from the post players to the guards because they know what a guard thinks. And from that moment on, that's kind of how I just approached it.
And even though we're in a positionless basketball and 7'4" guys are shooting threes these days, somebody still has to throw them the ball in the post.
Somebody got to get it in there.
Yeah, you're a receiver when you're a post player.
Yes, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Talk about your brother. You mentioned him. C.J. Miles played for a long time in the NBA.
Just a talent, high school talent. I mean, when you're in it, you don't really notice it as the little brother. I'm just pesking and telling him, hey, man, I'm better than you. And I still say that to this day.
Right.
But, I mean, now knowing what I know now, looking back at it, like, the kid was phenomenal coming up. And I can remember games watching him score 50 points and just, like, brushing it off. But just a worker. He worked every day. I probably should have been following some of those workouts and watching him work. But he knew what he wanted early, and he went out there. And then he had some God-given talents that, I mean, I can't do anything about. He's a 6'6" guard. Right? So, I mean, he worked hard.
He got the height gene, right?
He got the genes. And he worked hard. So, and then he turned into a specialist. He got to the NBA, and he stayed there because he's a pro. He did things right. He worked hard again, and he turned into a specialist. He found the niche.
So what were the pickup games like in your backyard when you were growing up?
They didn't last too long. I mean, there was a lot of blood, a lot of fighting. My mom shut that down in like the 7th, 8th grade.
All right, that's good there. Talk about coaching women, and I remember when Dan Hughes was the coach of the Stars, I talked to him, and he actually enjoyed it more from a lot of perspectives. Not that he couldn't or didn't want to coach men. The opportunities came there, but what are some of the things you do differently or do the same?
I've gotten that question a lot. I tell people it's basketball. The sport is the sport. And I do know that it varies a little bit, right? But the one thing I love about the women's game, it's very pure. In places where we can use our athleticism, we can use our size, our speeds, they don't get to use it as much, right? And we have some very athletic women players and girls players, but it's not the make or break as it is on the men's side, right? So it's a pure sport, and they listen. And once you get their ear, you have them forever, right?
They wanna learn.
They will run through a wall for you. And I love that. I love the approach that they bring to the game. And I started off as a young coach, and I don't know if I would have made it on the men's side as young as I was coaching some of these guys.
A little less ego.
Yes, most definitely.
All
Most
right,
definitely.
we're visiting with Cameron Miles. We'll continue that conversation and bring in Taylor Ross, who's working through an injury this year in our final segment. Call Cowboys Air Conditioning and Heating day or night at 934-2077 to take advantage of. this year when the women's season concludes, either the 16th or the 23rd or the 30th, whenever that season ends. And if it goes further than that, we'll wait till it's all over with. And it's out here at Chef Jason Dady's Roca and Martillo at the Rock at La Cantera. Once again, a chance to visit with one of our stars of the week, thanks to USAA, our official military appreciation partner, serving the military community and their families since 1922. Visiting with Cameron Miles, UTSA associate coach, and Taylor Ross. And Taylor, you're battling back for some injuries this year, so take us through your process and your progress as you get ready for the next season.
Well, my recovery process has been more mental than anything, and I think I low-key needed this injury so I can learn more about myself and try to reset my mind. It makes me miss basketball because I'm just sitting on the sideline wishing I could do everything my teammates are doing. So this injury, it's not a setback. I look at this as a boost I needed going into next season.
Cameron, talk about Taylor and what kind of a player she's going to be for the Roadrunners going forward, and how you're seeing her develop as a player on this team.
It's one word. She's a pro. Taylor is going to be a pro basketball player. Again, if she can get past the mental part of this,
scoot that mic just a little bit. There
if she
you
can
go.
get back past the mental part, she's a pro basketball player. She comes in every day. She has the right mindset, and she just does the right things.
Taylor, talk about that middle aspect that you talked about, because a lot of times we think of injuries. I just got to heal whatever is not working, but there is a middle part of that.
Yeah, I just, right after my surgery, I have to tell myself that my knee isn't weak, it's strong. I just have to force myself to, really get over the hump. Exercises that might be hard, I have to tell myself that my knee can do it, and eventually my knee started to follow what I was telling it.
All right, you played basketball at Brennan High School, not too far away from here. Take us through that high school career and then your decision to come to UTSA. What was it that got you to be a Roadrunner?
I remember the first time I had Instagram and Coach Karen followed me. I literally went and showed my coach. I was like, Coach, look, the coach from UTSA just followed me. And I was so excited because I felt like my hard work had been paying off. Somebody had finally recognized, I had been working in the gym. And I don't know, the community that I have here, it really made the decision easy. My mom's over here, my family, Brennan basketball, that whole community, they're all here. That just made the decision easier. And then the community at UTSA just tied it all together.
When did you first pick up a basketball? What was that like? And the first time you shot a hoop and said, I can play this game a little bit?
Well, I picked up the ball at like 4. My mom put me in the little leagues and stuff. But I didn't really take it seriously until, I want to say, like sophomore year of high school. I seen everybody getting offers, and I was like, well, why don't I have one? So I just started to really think about myself in the college setting, and I kept working towards, until I got there.
You play any other sports?
I ran track and played volleyball in middle school, but I dropped it all during high school.
So,
actually, I ran track in high school too.
So what was it about basketball that said, this is my sport, I want to do this? Is that just the one that's the most fun?
Yeah, maybe like the adrenaline rush you get from basketball, you don't get it in volleyball. In my opinion, you don't get it in volleyball, you don't get it in track. I just really liked the way basketball made me feel, so I stuck with it.
Was there a point where you said, okay, now I'm starting to get these offers and I'm starting to get notoriety, I'm pretty good at this? Where was that click for you?
Well, I didn't get any of my offers until the last season of my AAU. So once all the offers started rolling in, I was like, yes, finally my hard work is paying off, but I just got to keep staying in the gym or else they'll all go away and it'll be nothing.
Cameron, you mentioned professional. I can kind of see that in the first few minutes that we're here, and you like the attitude that she has.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the injury being a setback, but that's not going to slow her down.
Not at all, not at all. And again, she's been back on the court for a few months now, and again, just the way she's moving, the return to play process for her has been so extraordinary. To see her moving this way this quickly is what let me know, because again, the pros, they bounce back, right? And she's bounced back.
Take us, Taylor, through playing with Karen, and what's that like, and the learning experience that you've had from somebody that's done it at a number of levels.
I think from my freshman year, Kay has always believed in me and what I could do. She's gonna be hard and she's gonna push me, but I need that to be as great as I can be. And I appreciate Coach Karen for everything she's done to push me to get there.
And you want to do this in your future, I see. You want to be a coach someday.
Yeah, but the way they be yelling on the sidelines, I don't know. All that stressing, I don't know about that.
When you get your first technical, you'll know whether you want it or not, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on what you've accomplished so far. Get well. Have a great season in your future, and look forward to seeing you do a lot of things here for the Roadrunners.
Thank you.
All right. That's Taylor Ross. Also, Cameron Miles with us out here. Cameron, thanks as well for being with us. All the best as you wind down this season and go into the tournament.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks to Karen as well, and to Austin Claunch and to Tyler McCullough. Those are our guests out here today. We have women's basketball tomorrow night. 6 o'clock is our broadcast time. 6:30 tip on 93.3 The Bull. The women play on Saturday at Rice. 1:30 our time, 2 o'clock tip. And the men on Sunday, 1:30, 2 o'clock tip over on Ticket 760. And a reminder that Texas Homeowners Insurance members get 2 free tickets